What's going on, everyone? So, a trade for Jerami Grant appears to be most likely centered around a Rui Hachimura as well as a Gabe Vincent. That those would be the two matching salaries that would be going out to land a Jerami Grant. You'd have to throw in a vet minimum. Cam Reddish seems to be the guy that the Lakers would want to throw in. So, be something like Cam Reddish, Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura, plus a first for a Jerami Grant is the ideal scenario, right? As of right now, Portland has yet to, basically drop their asking price. They're still holding firm onto first. They're still 2 months away from training camp. They're probably going to hold firm for a while, so don't expect a Jerami Grant trade anytime soon. More likely than not, what is going to happen is we're probably going to be a month or so before anything gets done. But I do think once you get closer to training camp, all of a sudden, everything kind of goes, reality kind of sets in a little bit. It's like, we got such a young team with several players that we want kind of taking Jerami Grant's minutes. Do we really want to take Jerami Grant into the season? We could do worse than a first round pick, and, or maybe the Lakers cave a little bit. Maybe they give a pick swap, right, rather than two firsts. So that way they can maintain and keep a first and then, potentially make another move. Because something I've always talked about is, yes, Jerami Grant would be great, but you need more than just Grant, right? You need a Jerami Grant and. So can the Lakers get that and? But, giving up Gabe Vincent and Rui Hachimura, I like Rui a lot, and I'd like to keep Rui. I also think Gabe Vincent's a piece that, I was very excited to see be a Laker last year, and I really thought could make a significant impact. I still do, right? Like, I still think that everything that he could have provided last season, he could still provide this season. But I just think Jerami Grant is such a big need for the Lakers, right? They've been looking for that legit two-way 3-and-D wing for, years now. And you'd finally get that, which is a real position of need and a position in demand, period, for teams in the NBA. But also Jerami Grant would immediately be your third best player on the Lakers. And so I think you'd be okay in that regard. And then you'd still have some flexibility to do something else. You'd still have flexibility to make another trade later on down the road. But you'd also have DAngelo Russell and Jared Vanderbilt. And kind of begs two questions, right? One, do you trade them? Two, do you keep them? Right? And that doesn't mean you have to necessarily trade both. Doesn't mean you necessarily have to keep both, right? Lakers, I imagine, are still going to continue to shop DAngelo Russell, but Jared Vanderbilt has also been shopped around. The Lakers have been active in trying to trade Jared Vanderbilt as well. Is there a concern of his injuries? I mean, seriously, he's still rehabbing that foot injury. I mean, it's something that he's dealt with for a while. He hasn't been this huge model of health since he came into the league. He's been kind of dealt with, little injuries here and there throughout. So are the Lakers shopping him because they have concerns, right? Because why else would you shop him? If he's healthy, I mean, he's one of, if not the best on-ball defender in the league. Yes, he's a liability on the offensive side, but he is so good defensively that you can kind of survive with it, right? And if you have a Jerami Grant, you're not looking for him to play 30, 40. You're not as reliant on Jared Vanderbilt as you would have been otherwise, right? Where Jared Vanderbilt's kind of your only perimeter defender, right? So now if you are able to get a Jerami Grant, now Jared Vanderbilt's a guy that you can kind of just have in that specialty role. You can have him kind of just, give him 15 minutes a game and just tell him, like, hey, you see Luka? I need you for 15 minutes. Just don't worry about anything else, but stopping him and slowing him down and making sure he doesn't score the basketball. So like you can kind of use him in that specialty role. I want to keep Jared Vanderbilt. I like Jared Vanderbilt a ton. I have hyped up and talked heavily about Jared Vanderbilt since the moment we traded him. Even back when the Utah trade was originally announced and Utah was not including Jared Vanderbilt into the trade, I was on like videos just screaming like, you have to get Jared Vanderbilt in that trade. But if you can get a bigger position of need, then I don't hate it, right? Especially if Dalton Connect really can kind of step up and play the role. Because let's say you, so like, let's look at the roster. Let's do it like this, right? Right now, you would have, let's say you trade Gabe Vincent and Rui Hachimura for Jerami Grant. You would have DAngelo Russell and then Jalen Hood-Schifino, which, little concerning. But then you'd have Austin Reeves and Max Christie. Then you'd have LeBron James and Christian Wood as the power forward position. And then the center position, you would have Anthony Davis and Jackson Hayes. Small forward position, right? You would have Jerami Grant and Jared Vanderbilt, but you'd also have Dalton Connect. And to me, you look at the point guard position and you go, okay, if you could kind of use another backup, but you always have LeBron James. You always have, if particularly with the type of offense that JJ Redick wants to run, you kind of just need an initiator. You kind of just need somebody that can get you into your action and then everything starts going. So you might not necessarily need that. Okay, let's look at the center position. You got Anthony Davis and you got Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes really the guy that you want as your primary backup, right? Well, if you could turn Jared Vanderbilt into say Jared Vanderbilt in something for a Wendell Carter Jr., why wouldn't you do that, right? Or you can flip him or turn him some, or maybe you're packaging Jared Vanderbilt and DAngelo Russell, and you could even throw Jackson Hayes into that, and now you have, another $30 million in tradable salary that you could then flip to go get something else, right? So on the other side of that would be DAngelo Russell, where again the concern is replacing him at the point guard position. All the point guards that you had that you could have potentially replaced him with are all gone, right? The Tyus Jones, Spencer Dinwiddie, like those guys. Yeah, there's still like a Markelle Fultz, but he's not really a playmaker. Who else is out there? There's like Dennis Smith Jr., again, not really a playmaker, right? There's not really that guy out there that you look at and go, man, that he makes sense at the point guard position for the Lakers. Now, you do have LeBron James, where, I mean, even with DAngelo Russell, LeBron was basically the point guard. So there is a argument that you don't really have that major concern. Again, JJ Redick's offense, you just kind of need an initiator. So you could kind of have DAngelo Russell and use him to trade. And then you just kind of use Austin Reeves as the initiator. And I think you could potentially be good in there. It's a little concerning, but I think you'd be okay. My big concern is, what about the games during the regular season in which LeBron James doesn't play, right? Like, now you're really reliant on proper play calling and sets and action. Like, you don't have that guy that can just go generate offense for you, which sometimes you just need, right? Sometimes, your plays aren't really working and things aren't going well. And it's just, sometimes it's nice to just have that guy that you can just give the ball to and he can just go make plays. So that would be another big concern. But it also just depends on the overall talent. Again, when potentially trading DAngelo Russell and even Jared Vanderbilt, to me, it's what is the end result and package, right? Like, if, say we end up with, when all is said and done, let's say we trade Gabe Vincent, DAngelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, and Jared Vanderbilt, and we get back, say, like a Walker Kessler, Colin Sexton, and a Jerami Grant, something like that. I wouldn't really be that mad at that, right? Because now you have your center You have your 3-and-D wing. You got an athletic guard that can, make plays and score. Defensively is a little concerning, but you don't have to start him. You can bring him off the bench. Like, you got options. Like, I don't hate it, right? To me, it just depends on what the end result is. Or if, let's say you go get a Cam Johnson still, right? If you were to still go get a Cam Johnson, again, I don't hate the idea of like, okay, now you don't really need that. Now you got Jerami Grant and Cam Johnson. Right, so now you don't need necessarily Jared Vanderbilt, or say you get a Dorian Finney-Smith and like a Dennis Schroeder, right? And now it's like, okay, well now you got, you got your 2, 3-and-D wings, and you got a point of attack guard now, right? Like, just to me, it depends on how it all plays out. But you at the end of the day, I default to you still have LeBron, right? And even like just watching him with Team USA. And his ability to make plays and just do all the things he can do. Like, he is your point guard. And he's always going to be your point guard as long as he's on the team. It's just LeBron needs to, in my opinion, embrace it. Right? If he just embraces it, I think we're good. Right? But if he's kind of like, man, I want to play off ball more, right? It's like, dude, like, we're trying to build the best contending team possible. We won a championship with you as the point guard. Right? We need you to do it again. Right? And we're trying to get you some real talent that you can win with, and we need you to play point guard. Right? That doesn't mean he has to defend point guards, but you go get him point guard. So that would be ideal. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? What should the Lakers do with Jared Vanderbilt and DAngelo Russell? Do you keep them? Do you package them? Do you keep one? Do you trade the other? Do you think it just depends on what the end result is? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are. Love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.